So what our boss would like is a report showing the invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total from two different tables. In our example database, we have an active invoice table and we have a paid invoices table. The tables include the exact same columns. The only difference is that once an invoice is paid, it gets moved from active to paid. So the boss would like to see invoice number. Okay, they would like to see the invoice date and the total from each of these tables. And to do that requires using two separate select statements instead of a join. So we're basically going to select from this table, we'll select from paid invoices, and then we're going to combine the results into a single table. So I'm going to come down here, enter task 6. And I'm going to tell it to use examples. And then we'll do our select. So I'm going to select invoice number, invoice date, and invoice total. And this is going to be from active invoices. And then I'm basically going to do the exact same thing from paid invoices. So I can just kind of copy, paste, and do a little adjusting here. And let's run this. So right now, the only way you can tell which result set comes from active and which comes from paid is by actually looking at the query. So active is the first one we ran, so that's the top result set. Because we are planning to combine the result sets, we do need to insert a column that indicates if the data is coming from active or paid. So we're going to create a little column. And for active invoices, we're going to display the word active. And we're going to give the column a heading of source. So when this runs, we're going to see a source heading. And then for all of these rows, it's going to say active. And we want to do something similar down here for our paid invoices. Except instead of using active, we are going to indicate they are paid. So now when we run it, you'll see that the result set from active is identified and the result set from paid is identified. So at this point, we can combine these result sets. Now, I'm going to get rid of the semicolon after the first select. And we're going to enter union here. And now I'm going to run it. So we've got active and paid, and it's showing the columns the boss wants, but the boss did indicate that they only want to see January. And we need to then limit the results in both of our selects. And that requires a where clause in both. And what we want is our invoice date to be between January 1st, 2020 and January 31st, 2020. And I'm going to copy that right after the from, before the semicolon, paste it in there. And just so you can see that it does accept different date formats, I'm going to change this to a format that you're probably a little bit more familiar with. And both will work. Okay, so this first where is using the same date format it's stored in. The second is using a format that we're a little bit more familiar with. And you'll see that both of the where statements are going to work. Because if you look on active, all of those dates are between January 1st and January 31st. And then if we look at paid, everything that's in paid is between January 1st and January 31st as well. Now, the last thing the boss wanted is this final result set needs to be sorted. So at the very bottom, before the semicolon, we're going to do an order by. And what we want is for those large numbers under invoice total to display at the top. So we're going to sort it by invoice total in descending order. And we're going to execute that. And this is exactly what the boss asked for. When you are dealing with a union, the select from and where need to be in each of your select statements, okay? Because the where is affecting the result set that you are combining. If you need to sort, that is only done on the final result set. So that is why it's at the bottom and it's not included in both of the selects. So at this point, we have exactly what the boss wants. So I'm going to go ahead and save it and move that closing comment down. Hit save here.